We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for JAX, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting JAX.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting JAX Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, a closer look at the only undefeated team in the USL Championship. Plus, a new squad is on top in the USL Super League and more players joining Sporting JAX in the USLW and USL League 2. But we start with another big announcement from Sporting JAX. We have a coach. For the first time in club history, we know who will be on the sidelines leading the USL Super League women's team later this year. Stacey Balaam was introduced on Wednesday as the first coach in club history. She comes from Vanderbilt, where she was recently promoted to the role of associate head coach. Previously, she was the head coach at West Georgia, where she turned that program around. She also has experience on the field with the U.S. youth national teams and is a scout within U.S. soccer. And although she doesn't have decades of head coaching experience, Sporting JAX head of soccer Mark Warburton says he sees something special for Balaam to come in here and be the right choice.
I talked to her about a player at Vanderbilt University, and the more we spoke about the game, common interest, West Ham and UK football and Premier League, and we ended up talking for a long period about football in general. And the more I spoke to her, her passion for the game was obviously, it was evident. Her knowledge of the game was deep, her understanding of tactics and players, her desire to learn, a desire to promote the women's game, and desire in general just to move everything forward. So speaking about the player in question was great, but the more I spoke to her about football, I realised that the answer to our coaching question was right in front of our faces there. She was the type of person who communicates so well, can galvanise a playing group, knows when to be tough, knows when to be softer with the players, understands what it needs at the higher level. So for me, she became an obvious candidate.
Well, that's what Mark Warburton has to say about the move. But how about the coach herself? I sat down with the first head coach in Sporting JAX history to get to know her a little better.
Yeah, a lot of thought has gone into it because I know how much of an impact this is going to make on the community, and being very familiar with this area and the sport, and just how many young players are here that love the sport and play the sport. I know that it's going to really, elevate, soccer and help people within Jacksonville learn more about it and also become fans, and that's what we want. We want to gain viewership, we want to gain a lot more fans, and I think that it's just going to make a huge impact on the community itself.
One way you can do that, of course, is to win games on the pitch, but there's a component away from the field that really is powerful for that as well, to have that one-on-one interaction and to really become a part of the soccer community in Northeast Florida.
Yeah, I don't think the young ladies that we bring into the team know yet how big this is going to be, but they're going to be role models. They, there's a lot of young kids that are going to aspire to be like them, and I think that that's huge. But yeah, winning is going to help that, and we want to play a very attractive style of soccer, and we want to excite the fans, and we want to make sure that we're entertaining.
With the first match with the Sporting JAX crest on the shirt,
yeah,
to walk out at Hodges Stadium for that first home match, what is that moment going to be like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to give me goosebumps thinking about it, but it's going to be a proud moment for everybody involved. I think all the work that's being put in behind the scenes here with everybody that's working with Sporting JAX and the community, and even here at UNF that are providing their facility for us. This is going to be a big moment for that first game, that first event, and for these players that are coming in and going to commit to the cause and play maybe their first professional soccer game here. It's going to be a really proud moment for everybody, and so we just want to make sure that we're prepared and ready to compete, and just make a statement.
Arguably, the United States is the best women's soccer playing country in the world, number one ranked national team for sure. Because Sporting JAX will be coming into the USL Super League, which is a first division league, the possibility exists that you could develop and coach a team that is the best team in a first division league in the best women's soccer playing country on the planet. What does that opportunity mean?
When you put it like that, I mean, it's huge. It's a dream come true, and I just think that it's something that I haven't really kind of like digested yet, but like I said, it's just got everybody behind it, everybody that's driving it. I think we all have the same ambition for this club, and we just want to continue. We want to make it evolve. We want to continue for it to grow and be the best that we can be.
We now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, we're going to dig deeper into this decision a little bit later on in the show, but tell me your takeaways on the hire of Stacey Balaam as the first head coach of Sporting JAX.
I think Mark has done a tremendous job of vetting candidates throughout this process. And to land on Stacey, he just felt very strongly about it. And I was asked to do a little follow-up, and I talked to a bunch of people, and the same things just kept coming up over and over again about Stacey, which shows me like she's really just true to herself. And I think it's a home run hire.
All right, thank you, Becky. More from you in just a bit. Now let's turn our attention to our VyStar USL Championship Game of the Week, and it features the newest team in the USL Championship, Lexington SC, and a team trying to remain perfect on the young season, San Antonio FC. This one was a thrill ride. To Kentucky we go. After winning the opener and drawing the next two, Lexington coming off its first loss of the season, while San Antonio unbeaten and untied. 10th minute, watch the passing by Lexington in the dark kits here. The home team into space. Kieran Sargent crosses to Nick Firmino, who one-touches and puts it away. Lexington up 1-0. Just 5 minutes later, Lexington would be at it again, giving the home folks a little something to celebrate. Watch this. Marcus Epps with a precision little flick-on header right there for Corey Burke, who steps past the defender, and then he puts it away. 2-0 Lexington. The home supporters love it. Could we see an early season upset? San Antonio resilient. 23rd minute. And watch the bend on this ball. Jimmy Madrana from outside of the box. Are you kidding me? Take another look. Just nothing at all for the goalkeeper to do with this one. That ball just curls back in. San Antonio back to within a goal. And they weren't done. 26th minute. And a penalty upcoming. Sargent with a bad foul in the box. The referee points to the spot. It's PK time. Up steps Jorge Hernandez. And a little finesse. Chips it in to level the game at 2. It would remain that way until the second half. Less than 10 minutes remaining in regulation time. Nice bit of individual skill here. Madrana crosses to Jake LaCava, uses his chest and then his right foot. San Antonio completes the comeback, winning it and remaining perfect on the season. Mauricio Ruiz, how long can San Antonio keep this up?
Well, I'll tell you what, Cole, it's a bit of a surprise to anybody that was predicting where San Antonio would be. Certainly, teams get hot at some point in the season, and San Antonio is capable of getting hot at one point in the season. I just don't think anyone predicted so soon. But right now, especially the way this game went, being down 2-0 and being resilient enough in the first half still to get back and at least get a tie going into halftime, was a pretty impressive performance, and they're having a fantastic year so far.
All right, let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings first. You see Lou City on top. It's been a familiar spot for them with Loudoun United and North Carolina FC right behind. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Detroit City also on 7 points as they try to zero in on the top of the table. Out west, you know who's going to be on top. Undefeated and untied, San Antonio. Monterey Bay, who just got beat in the U.S. Open Cup, sitting there in second, but plenty of company with New Mexico United, FC Tulsa, also 3 points away from unbeaten San Antonio. All right, Mauricio, I want to get your take on the hire of Stacey Balaam. There were other more experienced coaches out there. What do you think about the decision?
You really do, Cole. And I personally really like this hire because you can get really easily attracted to quote unquote, the big names, the brand, the ones that have done it before, or you can be really delicate and really timely. Make sure that you identify the right person to lead the organization, not only on the footballing side, but on the community side, and obviously with a game model and a criteria and how they're going to go about building a roster. And Stacey has that. She's been part of a couple really good college programs. She's been part of the U.S. national team system as well. She has a really good network of people around her that are going to help her in this process. But getting that first face, right? Getting that name. I'll tell you what, it's one question that I'm happy that I have an answer to now. Who's going to be our women's head coach? And that really should catapult now from this point on signings and other technical staff. But this is a huge moment for the organization, and congratulations to Stacey. And really wishing for her going forward that she's able to build a roster together and a team that's going to support this endeavor.
Just part of Sporting JAX growing. When the club was formed, the intention was to launch the soccer teams and then potentially have more sports under the larger club umbrella. And the first sport has been added. Sporting JAX is jumping into the pool. Loggerheads Aquatics ceased operations last week, and Sporting JAX Aquatic Club was born. Sporting JAX Aquatic Club will provide a high-caliber competitive swim program under the umbrella of Sporting Club Jacksonville. The new program is set to elevate the local swimming community by offering elite-level coaching, technical training, and a pathway for athletes to excel in and out of the pool. Last weekend, Sporting JAX was on hand for the Hubbard House Domestic Violence Awareness Walk. Over 1,800 walkers gathered downtown to raise awareness of the work done by Hubbard House and to raise funds to further the mission. Some came with families or co-workers. Others stopped by with some four-legged friends. The walk went over the Main Street Bridge and back and was a big success once again this year.
And it also brings awareness just to everybody about what survivors go through. If somebody's here and is in a situation that's abusive, they can know that they can get help. And most importantly, to see the community come out and celebrate the courage, resiliency, and strength of survivors is amazing. I've had survivors after this event come up to me and just be really choked up because they are so awed by how many people come out to support them.
So Sporting JAX was really founded with community focus. If you look at a lot of the decisions that we've made over the past couple of years, it's really been rooted in the community. And for us to have an opportunity to support an organization that mostly touches women in our community, victims of domestic violence, it was a no-brainer for Sporting JAX to get involved.
Season tickets are now on sale for Sporting JAX inaugural USL Super League season. Kicks off in August at Hodges Stadium on the UNF campus. Tickets start as low as $10 per game for students and go up to field seats and premium hospitality. Join the movement and be part of the first professional women's team in Jacksonville. Go to sportingjax.com or call the number 904-863-KICK for more information. Still to come, Becky Burley joins us to give her perspective on the first call-ups to the women's national team for a local star and a closer look at what we're expecting from Stacey Balaam, hired as the head coach. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. You can catch every USL Super League game streaming on Peacock. Tonight at 6, Tampa Bay Sun at Brooklyn FC. Then also more action coming up throughout the course of this week and next week, all streaming every game live on Peacock. Let's go to the highlights from this past weekend. Let's check out how things went in Brooklyn with Brooklyn hosting Tampa Bay. Brooklyn have been in a slump, winless in the last 4. Opening 10 minutes, Mackenzie George with a run down the right side picks out Grace Philpotts at the back post, and Brooklyn takes a 1-0 lead, her first goal for Brooklyn. 29th minute now, Tampa Bay with a corner. As the skies begin to darken, gets sent out of the box, and Natasha Flint just smashes it right past the keeper to equalize at 1. Second half still 1-1. The rain's coming down in Brooklyn. And watch the header to Philpotts. She finds a teammate making a back post run after a one touch there, and it's Salma Amani. Brooklyn back in front, and they are feeling it in Brooklyn. That would remain that way, 2-1 until deep into stoppage time. Tampa Bay desperate. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. Natasha Flint gets on the end of this one of the box, and she finds the back of the net. A back and forth affair finishes in a 2-2 draw. In Charlotte, Carolina hosting Dallas, 19th minute. Carolina's Audrey Harding puts on a show. She draws a crowd. Two defenders come. She lays it off for Ellie Hutchinson with a one-touch finish. Carolina up 1-0. Just 3 minutes later, Carolina on a corner. First attempt doesn't bear fruit, but they stay with it. Hutchinson to Mia Corbin, who finishes. Carolina goes on to a 3-0 victory over Dallas. And with that, we have a new team atop the table. Let's take a look at the standings in the USL Super League. Remember, they will play 28 matches in total, so you're talking about 7, 8, 9 matches remaining for these teams. And with Carolina taking the top spot away from Brooklyn, top 4 teams will go to the playoffs. It's looking very interesting. This has been a very competitive first season in the USL Super League. We expect quite a finish to the regular season before the playoffs begin. We now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, let's get back to the big story of the week, the hiring of Stacey Balaam as the first head coach in Sporting JAX history. Here's what her boss at Vanderbilt, Darren Ambrose, had to say about Balaam.
She has such a positive outlook, which I think is critical as well in the role she was playing as an assistant here and then as an associate head coach, obviously, that she was able to give tough love and provide, feedback that was spot on in what it was, no matter how hard that might have been. It was accurate. It was delivered in a way that was understanding and empathetic, but it was done in a way that was impactful. And you could see players taking it on board. And even though Stacey had been, held a line with them and been pretty adamant, and this was information they needed to hear, and you've got to get better at these things, it was done in a way where, players felt supported by that too. And then from that, you could see the relationships growing.
Well, those are some glowing things said there about Stacey Balaam by her former coach. Let's focus on some of the obstacles and opportunities that she has now coming in as the first coach with Sporting JAX.
Obstacles are you're entering a league where everyone else has had a whole season to play and sort of work out the kinks. Hopefully the opportunity in that is we sort of get to learn a little bit from some of what those teams have done. But starting a program for the first time, starting a team, it takes courage to do that, and that's why I'm so excited about Stacey, is because she never has shied about that at all. She's very much all in on that, and I think it's a certain type of person that has that. Opportunity for me is huge. I think JAX is a destination, and for it to be kind of like a league leader in so many ways, just in our vision and the things that we're trying to do. We've really stuck true to those values, and to me, when you find somebody who matches those values, which is Stacey, you've got a great situation.
All right, let's talk about the opportunity off the pitch coming here to the First Coast and to become the first coach of a fully professional team in Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville has always been a great soccer community. And I think what we need is someone who can unite that entire soccer community, because it's a big place with a lot of players. And so for me, I think she's the right person for that, because that's the one thing that keeps coming up too, is she's such a great community builder.
All right, good stuff, Becky. Thanks so much. If you're ready to sign up for season tickets for the USL Super League season, do it now. You'll receive a limited edition inaugural season scarf. Be a part of the first pro women's team in Jacksonville history. Go to sportingjax.com or use the QR code on your screen for more information. Still to come, our Youth Soccer Spotlight. We update you on the newest additions to the Sporting JAX USLW and League 2 rosters. That's next as the Sporting JAX Report rolls on. In the coming months, Sporting JAX will be unveiling the inaugural kit, but you can always get official Sporting JAX merchandise, from shirts and hats to sweatshirts and scarves. Just go to sportingjax.com/shop to get your official club gear today. It is time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight presented by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. And this week we're bringing you more on the additions for the Sporting JAX USLW League and USL League 2 squads. These are pre-professional teams made up of college age and younger players. So we may be stretching the definition of youth soccer here a little bit, but stay with me anyway. The USLW and USL League 2 teams will be the first to wear the Sporting JAX crest on their shirts in competition when the league begins play next month. Here are the newest additions to the squad. On the women's side, USLW, familiar face coming back for another season. Olivia Borey was a star at Bartram Trail, where she was a 3-time state champion. Started her college career at FAU, recently transferred to Mercer after scoring a goal and 5 assists in 2 seasons in Boca Raton. A pair of Argentinian twins also on the roster, Delfinia and Emilia Zolesio. Both played for River Plate in Argentina and for Columbia College. Delfinia scored 23 goals with 20 assists as a grad student, while Emilia added 5 goals and 11 assists, scoring 3 game-winning goals. Another forward to add, Aliyah Fadul, who was a first-team All-Sunbelt performer at Georgia State after scoring 9 goals and 3 assists in 19 games for the Panthers. As for the men's USL League 2 team, a local face will represent Jacksonville. Former Ponte Vedra standout Tyler Richardson is back in Northeast Florida after his junior season at USF. He was the MVP for the 2022 MLS Next Cup All-Star Game. He's joined by defender Rio Onwumira, who started his career at UNF, then went to Binghamton College, started 17 games there. And Manuel Flores will also wear the Sporting JAX shirt. He was a star at Tennessee Southern in his college career. The seasons for both the USLW League and USL League 2 begin next month. Be sure to join us every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Sporting JAX Soccer Hour. You can also hear it on 1010XL.com and on demand whenever you like. Still to come, a look ahead at this week's FA Cup action. That's next as the Sporting JAX Report rolls on. A reminder, you can watch the Sporting JAX Report just about every Saturday at noon on NBC 12. Most weeks, that's immediately before Premier League Soccer on NBC. You can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting JAX YouTube channel. They are underway in the Manchester Derby at Old Trafford. It's United versus City. Mauricio Ruiz rejoins us now. Mauricio, neither one of these two teams has had the kind of season they hoped for or expected.
They really haven't, and to be fair, I mean, Man United, that's kind of where they've been the last couple of seasons. So not where expected, but also kind of where they've been. They've kind of been, around the 10, and winning the FA Cup last year helped them. But they really haven't been impressive for a couple of years now. And we'll see with Ruben Amorim in the offseason if the new experiment has worked. Well, I think since Sir Alex Ferguson, they're on 8 coaches now, since they've kind of rotated the carousel. So disappointing for Man U. They spent a lot of money and certainly not where they would like to be as an organization. Man City is probably the biggest surprise, right? And you can understand why. There's a lot of player fatigue. We hear playing for Guardiola is a bit of a coaching fatigue as well because he's very demanding as a coach. And they really haven't updated their roster early in the season. They did a good job in the transfer window of bringing in some new blood. But really surprising that they struggled as much as they struggled. And, they're in 5th place. They're still in Champions League competition. But, and potentially 5 teams will get in this year to Champions League. But a far cry from what we're used to seeing Man City and Man U historically.
One thing you mentioned there, Mauricio, is that this is a team in Man City that is still playing in the FA Cup. They'll take on Nottingham Forest in the semifinals. So still something to play for from that standpoint. It always matters when you play a derby and you play the Manchester Derby. You know that it is going to be important for both squads. We'll see how they come out of this. Man City's got to make sure they solidify themselves as a Champions League club for next year. Thanks so much for watching the Sporting JAX Report. We'll talk to you next week right here. Thanks, everybody.